everyone, it's Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and today we're going to be reviewing the Netflix film, The Five Bloods, which is directed by Academy Award-winning director Spike Lee. It stars Delroy Lindo, Chadwick Boseman, Jonathan Majors, Clark Peters, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and Norm Lewis, as the film focuses on four African-American vets who battle forces of man versus nature when they return to Vietnam to track down the remains of their fallen squad leader, and also to discover the gold fortune that he helped them hide. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came, I hope you stay. I tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like about the film. Is it worth your time binging or not this weekend? Because there's a lot of new stuff coming out on streaming platforms and VOD, but do we have enough time or coins to watch them all? Let's figure it out. So going into what I enjoyed about The Five Bloods. First and foremost, you're going to hear everyone say this probably in their review, but it's so true. This film is so relevant to where we are today, in today's social climate. With the heightened microscope over the Black Lives Matter movement, it's very important that we tell the stories of our Black veterans, of Black soldiers, and the fact that this film focuses on the plight of the Black soldier and what it was like, especially for those in Vietnam, to fight two battles, okay? You're fighting this battle overseas, but also too having to come home and fight the battle of being Black in America, of fighting for your country, but coming back to a country where you're still not free, where you're still looked at as lesser than, not as an equal. And so I love that Spike Lee does a very great job of educating this audience as to what these soldiers were dealing with during this time during the Vietnam War. He uses the use of clips and pictures, and mainly through Chadwick Boseman's character, Storm and Norman, their squad leader. They do a very great job of looking at just the mental behind what these Black soldiers, what these Black GIs, what they were going through during this time. And especially when we talk about diversity and inclusion in Hollywood, Black people have fought in every war, like every American war, Black people have fought in it. And so it's very disheartening when you watch the majority of films totally erase Black soldiers, right? We have movies such as Buffalo Soldiers and Glory, but to truly see a film that celebrates Black soldiers, but to also to show what it was like mentally having to be Black and a soldier fighting in a war that necessarily what some like Martin Luther King Jr. or other prominent civil rights leaders felt as though it wasn't the Black man's job to fight in this war, that it wasn't a war for Black people to fight in, because the war that they needed to be fighting is the race issues or the racial injustices in America. And I think that Spike Lee does a very great job of showing you all the parts, different sides to the story, and also to helping educate people on what was happening during this time in the Vietnam War, especially for Black soldiers. And so I think that the representation of showing these men in The Five Bloods, I think that is very, very important. I really hope that a lot of people learn as much as they possibly can. But also too, one of my favorite things about The Five Bloods is the fact that you have multi-layered Black characters. A lot of times in films, you see this one-dimensional Black character. And one of the things that I truly appreciate is, you know, these men are just good friends. They like to turn up and have a good time. They are husbands. They are fathers. They deal with traumas from the war. You get to see so many layers in these characters that it just makes you want to connect to them and keeps you invested in what is going to happen to these characters throughout the course of the movie. But the most important thing that really sticks out to me are the dynamics of family. And Spike really explores this through two main characters, with Delroy Lindo's Paul and his relationship with his son, David, played by Jonathan Majors, and also too with Clark Peters, who plays Otis. I don't want to give away necessarily what their family dynamics are, but you really go into a lot of, you know, how the war changed some of these men, how that affected their roles as a father, their roles as a husband. But Delroy and Jonathan are absolutely phenomenal together as we really get to explore kind of this love-hate relationship and sometimes a deterioration of the relationship between the two. But Delroy Lindo, you guys, if this man does not get an award, he needs all the awards buzz in the world, okay? If I don't see him for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor, we're going to have a problem, because he absolutely stands out amongst the pack. He is so phenomenal as this complex veteran who has very strong political views, who has very strong trauma that he's still dealing with, the PTSD, especially as we see how his character reacts to being back in Vietnam and seeing some of those old feelings kind of resonate inside of him. He is just absolutely fantastic to watch. Can't take your eyes off of him. He deserves everything and more because Delroy has been killing it. It didn't just start in the Five Bloods. He has been killing it his entire career, and I really hope that he gets the attention and the awards consideration that he really, it's been long overdue, you guys. But also too, like I said, everyone else does a really fantastic job. I love Jonathan Majors in the film. Everyone is just a phenomenal cast, but Delroy really stands out amongst the rest. But can we talk about the music real quick, you guys? Because Spike, I see what you did there, okay? I had me a whole little Marvin Gaye concert. The music is done by Marvin Gaye, but I just had to stop with moments. I was like, Sharana, this is not a concert. You're supposed to be watching this movie. You need to focus. But the music in the film is absolutely on point. How he uses special arrangements of the music and throws it into the film as things are starting to happen. I think that was very, very well done. Now, even though I have so many wonderful things to say about the Five Bloods, there are just two main issues with the film. So first, it feels as though there is a lot happening in the Five Bloods, so much that it feels like it's a lot of subplots that makes me feel as though there's like two movies into one. And so I do feel as though that a strong 30 minutes could have been cut out of it. I found some of the additional characters added to the film I didn't find them relevant or necessary to carry the plot along. You could see what he was trying to do, but I was just like, this 30 minutes definitely could have been cut out and it still would have had the same impact on its audience. And that's mainly going into the writing of the film and also to the editing of the film as well. But overall for me, I really, really enjoyed The Five Bloods. It's a really fantastic war movie. I wish they would have gave my man a little bit more budget for it, but I'm not going to be mad about that. But it's a great war movie that has a very great message that's very timely. So many multiple themes that you can pull from this movie as a whole. But I really think that Spike Lee did an absolutely fantastic job on this film. Fantastic job with the cast, especially Delroy. What I would tell you guys to do when you were in your time for The Five Bloods, go watch it, okay? As soon as you see that this video hits and you see that it's streaming, you stop what you're doing, you go watch this film. Let me know in the comment section below what you think it is, but I think you're going to have a great time with it. But those are pretty much my thoughts on The Five Bloods. As always, my name is Sharana from Pay Your Weight, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.